again, target our efforts and do so effectively is through some report dashboards. So there's several that we created. We have 6 main dashboards that we have camped within Medaptus to really overview, again, where are we on documentation? Where are we on our billing? Where are we on our processes? So looking at, what are our encounter volumes, our average work hour views per encounter, our average daily census, and then where are percentage of encounters falling out when we talk about, our H&Ps or our subsequent encounters? Where are we on percentage-wise for high level versus moderate versus a low level? So how can we see? So in this particular example for this site, you can see we did enter in quite a bit of documentation, education, support, and training. We were able to move the needle successfully in so many areas with our H&Ps, with our subsequent levels, that you can see we were able to drive down some of those moderate level, increase some of those high level billings in areas. Again, it's not because our patients became sicker. It's not because our clinicians are doing something different in their day-to-day approach to medicine. It's really just the education in their documentation and their support that we're able to help provide that feedback. So we know, again, it goes a long way, Dr. Smith, if you would put in, as interpreted by me, as opposed to, I reviewed this slide or I reviewed this image. Again, so that ability to bill really to the highest level of what we're doing. So this is just our overview. We have additional dashboards. This one looks at a higher level of just the admissions. I can look at clinician to a clinician. Where are my clinicians billing? What percentage of our CPT codes have been those higher level month to month? Again, I've got charts so we can open up that we can look group to group, provider to provider, month to month, what our totals have been. We can see those gauges. We can even see in our last several weeks, where have we been billing successfully? Again, and there's filters through this entire thing. I can look at certain specific dates, clinicians, groups, location, all of those customizations that we've put into place so we can, again, really dive into this data in a more meaningful way. We look at these details also with regards to subsequent encounters and discharges to look at, what level of billing are we doing? Where have we been, again, and how effective are our coding efforts and our education on our clinicians? And again, a lot of this all comes from, are my clinicians entering into the system and entering their billing? Point one, because I cannot give this integral review and feedback if I'm not getting the initial code from our clinicians. If I'm only looking at their documentation, I can't maybe suggest or give insight into areas of potential improvement if I'm not sure of what level maybe you are anticipating. So again, some of those key pieces that we can help just coming from that provider engagement of what they're actually billing in the system. So again, we have some sites. I pulled this one because, again, we have some that we still have areas to go, but we have clinicians that we have done phenomenal with, that we have really moved that needle, and still, some room to grow. And then from that, we're able to meaningfully look at, for those encounters that are entered, what are our changes? What are our changes site to site, group to group, clinician to clinician? Again, are there areas, certain types of down codes that we're seeing more prevalence with? Again, how can we tailor those education efforts to then address that? So again, phenomenal dashboards. We're so excited about the utilization of these, the availability, but again, me in the target market, not only do I want it to look pretty, I also want to make sure that when you access a dashboard, it's easy to get to, because that's another piece too. It may be integral when you get there, but if I have to dig for this, or it takes me some time to get into this particular dashboard, I am going to see too many barriers that often my team members are not going to dive into this. So as I'm keeping my end user in mind, we also then in Medaptus, we revamped our reports menu. We changed it to no longer show the custom reports that Medaptus has, which again, some of them are so valuable, we use on a regular basis, but to really put these first and foremost. And if you're familiar, you can actually make your homepage in Medaptus this report screen. So I have some operators, I've set them up with an account and I've camped in this report menu. They log in with our single sign-ons and they immediately get to here and they can get their dashboards. I've removed every barrier that I can to them getting into this information, because again, I'm keeping my user in mind. I have clinicians, some may be tech savvy, some may not. Some have amounts of time and some don't, but I'm really trying to, again, eliminate any barriers to them accessing the data. And then once they receive the data, that they can actually really integrally see what they're looking at, digest it, act upon it, track it, that again, it's meaningful data.